All right, welcome to Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News, presented by Gen X Motorsports. Is it Motorsports? Am I saying it right this time?
Yes, Gen X Motorsports.
Okay. Gen X Motorsports. I thank those guys for coming on this year.
Yeah.
So I got to thank those guys for coming on this year. Let's see, where is my stuff here? I ain't even prepared. It's a shocker, ain't it, Justin?
Justin, did you guys sit here and work with us?
It's hard to soar like an eagle when you work with pigeons, you know. I got to thank WALTRIP Pressure Washing and Solutions. Power washing. Turn 2 Synthetics. Let's see. GRIER and Associates with Mean Dean Automotive. And where is it, Jack?
Down in Carolina somewhere.
Moyoc.
Oh, you struggle with that word?
Evidently, they all laugh at me every time I do it.
It's Moyoc or Mayoc. Let's see. Safety Clean, Performance Plus Motor Oil. I think Langley Speedway, Chuck Hall, Bill Mullis, Justin maybe now. We add Justin to the list. Bondurant Brothers Distillery. Mayhem Management. Thoughts go out to her. I guess she lost her aunt today or yesterday.
Yes.
So thoughts and prayers go out to Aaron. MPM Marketing. Black Acid Racing Apparel. If you need 1 shirt, 10 shirts. Again, Gen X Motorsports Driver Development and Race Rental Program. They seem to have a pretty good handle up there at the Dominion.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you're looking for a local apparel shirt for Slinger Speed, I talked to Tim this weekend. I ran into him. He said maybe he could probably fit it in if he was the first guest. I said we can make it happen.
Well, how come you told me that?
Well,
it's
on a need to know basis, and I guess you didn't need to know.
I call over there and I talk to him all the time, and I don't get that response. So
I just put him on the spot.
Look, I'm gonna get him over here, and then I'm gonna put him last to see what.
VA 811, call before you dig. Factory Canopies and Fluid Logic. I think Todd and what's her name again, Jack?
Andrea Calkins.
Andrea, for supporting us for so long. And Papa John's, we got pizza tonight, Jack.
Yeah. Thanks
for the delivery guy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tip you. Don't pet strange dogs. GAC, Great American Company. Guillermo Amaya. He's been with us for a few years. Really appreciate his support. What's up, Andrew? And with that, man, we had a lot of good racing this weekend. I mean,
a lot of local racing. No, I don't understand. We had Mother's Day and we didn't. They raced.
I know. Normally it's the other way around, right?
Father's Day this year, no racing, and I was about done with that. I mean,
although it's going to be 17 races from here on out for the Cup guys and stuff.
Okay, well,
until they get. I don't know. Is that the end of the season? Probably.
I don't know if they have any other off days.
No, they're done. So. They're done for the rest of the year. They got to make it out the rest of the year. So, anyway, all right. I'm not gonna do the news right now.
No.
I'm gonna wait and do the news in a little while.
Go ahead and do the news.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's what y'all normally do.
Well, I was trying to, get. So
Justin likes hanging out with us. Okay. Well, he likes me. I don't know about you, Judd.
I'm just here for the pizza.
All right, let's talk about Langley Speedway this past weekend. In the modified race.
I said, man, there was some good racing this weekend, but I got to give a shout out to the non-limited. He wore their ass out.
Yeah.
If I was his spot, I'd have been like, back it up, like ease up, slow it down a little bit. Don't make it look so bad.
That's
what you go out there and do. That's what you're here for.
Yeah, but that's a good way to get your car taken apart a bunch of times too.
I mean, as long as you're legal, you ain't got nothing to be scared about.
Again.
All right, modified race number 1, Matt Carter won. The second modified race, DJ Valente won, and he'll be with us next week. With the Virginia Racers, Aiden Milet got the win. The old school Super Streets, Sammy Gata. The VA 811 Pro 6s. What's the guy's name on that race?
Travis Wall.
Travis Wall.
Trevor Wall.
I'm kind of wondering if there's anybody else in
Now,
there.
see, he
Hadley
does
Weiss.
it right. See, he backs up a little bit and makes it look a little better.
You know, and Hadley Weiss, you know, he's done good, but I mean, you know, Travis Wall just seems like it's every week.
He's on a Sunday drive.
Yeah,
He's got it figured out.
Yes, he does.
In the
That's
Cycle
a fact.
City, in the Cycle City Legends, Tommy Jackson Jr. got the win, and then the Bandos, Brian Runstrom Jr. I don't know how many wins that is for him.
Now, Riley Rando had a good run in that. I was happy to see her have a good run. Qualified third or fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth, was running third and got shuffled back to fifth. I think she ended up fifth.
Up at Dominion Speedway this past weekend, Virginia Racers had 2 races up there. Race number 1, Reed Murphy got the win, and race number 2, Alex Brock got the win. And then there was the cars late model stock car race up there this weekend. Bobby McCarty, by the front end of his car, just barely. He gets the
Man.
win.
Of your chinny chin chin.
That was an exciting race,
Was
or at least the last 4 laps were.
it was a good race.
You know. And shout out to our local guys running well there. I mean, I tell you, I expected Butterbean to run well. I didn't expect him to has done as well as he has.
But really though, well, look what he's in.
Yeah, but that program wasn't. I mean, last year wasn't. They ran well. I don't think they has contended last year as much as they've contended this year.
Yeah.
There.
And two, and I think, you know, Bean will probably say that you've had Phil Warren all these years, and then you go to somewhere else, and it's like, you know, can you do it? Can you know, are you going to be able to do it?
Well,
I figured it would take a little bit for them to kind of gel together, but those boys have like gelled together to begin with.
This is how I look at it, and people in the comments can say yes or no. It's cool. You had Phil Warren, right? The old school Phil Warren, and then he really just transitioned to the newer aged Phil Warren.
Yeah.
Lee Pulliam, when he ran everywhere and won everywhere.
Oh, no doubt.
In back, you know, before I started coming out to Langley Speedway, I mean, Phil Warren was the reason my first driver that I followed in late model stocks, which was weird because he drove a Ford, but I just liked that silver and blue 16 that he had. And he was just like the olden day Lee Pulliam. I mean, it's almost just like Lee Pulliam.
Yeah,
a copy
but
of
Phil did it back in the day. Of course, that was with another team. He drove for somebody. That was when he just brung a helmet. But prior to that, Phil won a bunch of championships and a bunch of races with nothing. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he knows. Jack probably knows. I mean, Phil won. He didn't have anything. He didn't have any money. And
everybody thinks he's got all this money, but he never had all that much money.
He still ain't got no money.
Well, I'm not
let's be honest. No, Phil knows. I mean, Phil's a great guy, but Phil did it with nothing. I mean, Barbara cut hair all week to buy tires on the weekends, and that's the truth. I mean, I've known Phil since I was about close to his age, and Phil did it with nothing. And I think only 1 year, 95, when he won the regional championship, that he actually made a bunch of money that year. Honestly, I don't think anybody's really made any money in this business.
All right, South Boston, they had 2 late model races up there. Carter Langley got the first win. Peyton Sellers got the second. Down at Florence, late model race number 1, Cody Kelly. Late model race number 2, Doug Barnes. Bowman Gray, they had 2 sportsman races at Bowman Gray. Michael Adams got the first win. Tommy Neal got the second. And then the modifieds had 2 races at Bowman Gray this weekend. Tim Brown got the first win. That was his 97th win at Bowman Gray.
That's crazy. Well, he's been there a long damn time.
And then modified race number 2, Burt Myers got the win, and that was his 90th win at Bowman Gray. At Milwaukee, the Stars Tour was at Milwaukee. Ty Majeski got the win up there. Casey Roderick finished third. So that was a pretty big deal. He was having some issues during the race. At Pinkham Speedway.
Where's that?
That's up in New York somewhere. Don't know exactly. It's a dirt track. For the 3rd straight week, Garrett Zacharias went up there and got another win. He got another win on dirt. That's he's doing something right. Down at Lonesome Pine in the modified 4s. Guess who got the win in the modified 4s?
Kevin Canner.
Kevin Canner got another win at Five Flags. Dawson Sutton got the win after somebody
The
got
Room of
DQ'd.
Doom.
Yeah, somebody got DQ'd.
You don't say.
At Montgomery, the Grand National Super Series, Jeremy Mayfield got the win down there. And in the New River All-American Speedway, TJ Barron got both late model wins, and Carson Hayslip got the Legends win. And big news this week, Davey Callahan, fresh off his go-kart heroics, is now going to be running the ARCA race at Elko this weekend.
Oh, he's running the car?
Yeah, him and...
Oh, they're both on. Okay.
Him and Willie Mullins are going to run that race up there.
I thought you were talking about the news is coming out tomorrow.
That's what I thought you were going for.
What news is coming out tomorrow? Y'all waiting on some news tomorrow?
Yeah.
Ain't this supposed to be the insider
Yeah.
news show? What's the inside news, Chief?
I don't think it's a secret.
I don't think it is either. I think Josh Berry pretty much knows where he's going to be next year.
But I mean, I think that's a great place for him to be because the way he's a racer at heart, and like Stuart Haas kind of has that. I mean, you look at like Hendrick Motorsports is kind of big engineering driven, right, and talent. Where Hendrick is just you're a racer. I mean, from the guy who sweeps the floor to the crew chief, they're not. I mean, they have engineers. I mean, we know we've been through there, but everybody there is just kind of a racer at heart.
Yeah.
And that's Josh Berry, and I think he will fit very well in there. And he probably doesn't want me to say, but somebody was telling me today, I talked to Rodney, and Rodney told him that feels the difference is going to be between Kevin. I think because Kevin is kind of on the way out, he kind of is one of those easy in, getting in the corners, and it's kind of conservative. Where Josh is going to charge the corner, where these new guys, it's kind of the difference. You're charging the corner much more than kind of the old school guys. And so he's kind of looking forward to this next year.
Well, I think it's going to be a big year for him. But
yeah. And I mean, obviously, as well as Josh did with his fill-in a cup car this year, I think he'll come out of the gate and do well. And driver of the week, Jack, did anybody else vote?
Yeah, there was 2 votes in there for somebody else.
Go ahead and mention their names.
Huh? Bobby McCarty got 2 votes.
Okay.
I mean, he goes and wins a car tour race.
First time in 2 years.
About so much. And DJ Valente got, I don't know. I ain't going to say that. I'm not going to say anything.
You're not going to say the Mafia?
I don't think the Mafia had anything to do with it. I mean,
that was
you have the Parkers in there.
Not to take anything away from Bobby's win on the car store, because winning anywhere is great. Car store, it's hard to do. But McCarty's also a champion.
Yeah.
In the car store. So I mean, it's not like he hasn't won. DJ's win here, emotional because it's his first win in the modified.
Right.
And I said,
and he's been running well, right?
He has. Yeah, this year he's been doing well. I'm gonna take a second to give a shout out to my production staff for capturing those last handful of laps there.
With Matt coming.
Yeah, that was some NASCAR quality, Sunday quality content that we put out there. So, to be able to watch Mary over in turn 1, just almost lose it, and her racing down to victory lane and all the screams. I mean, that emotional win, that's always going to tug at everyone's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, whether you really like the person or not.
Well, I think everybody loves to see that.
Absolutely.
I mean, of course, everybody's all like, Matt's going to get him. I'm like, I don't think Matt's going to get him. If he gets to him, I don't think he's going to be able to get by him.
Getting to and getting around somebody. Totally.
Yeah, and then I thought he was close, but I think Matt got loose off of 2 with like 4 or 5 to go, and I said,
couple times off of 4, he was pretty sideways, and DJ was driving pretty straight off the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That was the difference.
You can go under there instead of
right. You see how tall that man is? You think he's
well, that's why we were trying to get a laugh.
Yeah.
I would rather not.
All right, East Lincoln Speedway, Spanky over at East Lincoln Speedway says Spanky's Kitchen's got some great food. We got to go to East Lincoln one time. To go down there.
Just to get some of Spanky's food.
That's
So
right.
are you going to say who the driver of the week is? Or did you announce it?
I thought I said it when I announced it earlier.
Okay.
DJ
I got to watch him.
DJ Valente got the driver of the week.
And
So,
he will be here Tuesday.
yeah, and it'll be here Tuesday. Thanks to
Jack couldn't get a hold of him.
I couldn't get him. You're right, I couldn't.
Did you have to call him?
I mean, yeah, I got right away.
You know what? You ever block me, I know somebody get a hold of you. So don't even go there. All right, let's go ahead and get started now on the
Commander's Cup.
Commander's Cup. So we're going to let Justin take over things here.
So we've kind of changed the format a tad bit this year. Not a whole lot, but this cup right here will eventually go away. We're going to get what's called a perpetual trophy, something that'll stay here. Well, this stays here at the track no matter what, right? So we're going to get a perpetual style trophy that you can add the team names throughout the year. You're just going to keep adding to that.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so what will happen this year is each race winner, so there's what, 7 divisions running for 8 races Saturday. So each race winner will get a special trophy. It won't be the normal one that you get. It'll be a special Commander's Cup trophy. But no matter who you are, no matter if you're representing a department of the military or branch of military, you will get that special trophy. And then for tonight, what we'll do is we'll draw 6 names out of, or 6 branches for each division. They will form that team. And then at the end of the night, I want to say it's going to be the lowest average finishing position. That team will be considered, will be considered the winner. And everyone on that team will get $100 and 4 anytime tickets from the track to give away.
Yeah, pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these nifty little challenge coins that I have here. Half of them I actually earned. The other 3 I had to buy to make it cool. And just so you're seeing, I have a Kennedy Space Center coin, just like last year, because I still don't have a Space Force coin. But pretty much they do. Every other coin that I have is from the actual department of, or the branch of the military. So do you want me to pull them out of the cup, or do y'all want to do it?
Whatever's easy, whatever you want.
I'll tell you what.
It's your show. We're just here.
I got an idea.
What's that?
Okay. We have in our midst right now a military person that I think he needs to be the one to do it, to be the one to pull some stuff out of there, you know.
That's fine. I hate
You don't have to do the trucks here, the super trucks, because he's a super truck driver and he's got a big motor, so we don't want to worry about that too much.
I'm not eligible. He is not eligible.
Oh, you're not eligible? Oh, then you can do them all then.
I missed the race, so I'm down to 18 points.
Are you?
Now there is a possibility that you could represent a branch as 2 other people in the top 6. Like, so if someone doesn't show up or they can't race, essentially we will go to the next person in line. So I'm cool if you want to come over, Rick.
Come on over here, Rick. You're the military person here, so I think it's only fair that you be the one to do it.
Touch me. What was that?
I'll put my hand on you.
Watch your hands. All right, let's do this. All right, so all we'll just go down the list here, and we'll start at P1, go to P6, and as the coins come out, we'll assign them, we'll put them back in, and we'll do it again. All right. So first up will be the undefeated Connor Hall in the late model stocks.
All right, let's go.
Kind of hard. Like, I don't know that there's anybody won that many straight races.
Army.
Probably since Phil.
Well,
That's
so
probably right.
He's doing the exact same thing Brendan did last year. Brendan got up to 6 wins before somebody beat him in a twin. So this week might be. But first up, Connor Hall. He'll represent the Army.
Good branch.
Next will be Brendan Queen.
All right, come on, Navy. We need a win.
Both are running full time in the car store.
There you go.
There we go, Navy. I promise that was just play.
Next up will be the 21 of Greg Edwards.
What we got here?
Air Force. Next will be Woody Howard, 41. That's going to be the Space Force.
Space Force.
Next will be Nick Smith.
Sorry, guys, can't get hold of it.
Coast Guard.
And the last one.
Danny Edwards leaves the Marines.
Yeah, Marines.
All right, there you go. So we got Connor Hall, Army, Brendan Queens, Navy, Greg Edwards is Air Force, Woody Howard, Space Force, Nick Smith, Coast Guard, Danny Edwards, the Marines. All right, next up we'll do the Super Streets.
Try to mix them up a little bit so when I put them in there, they all come out the same way.
Yeah. Make a bunch of noise. All right, so the first we got is the number 20 of Gordon Weeks.
All right.
This is when you could have set up some, what's a word to use?
Air Force.
Gordon Weeks will get the Air Force. Next up will be Dale Nichols, number 8.
Navy.
Navy. That's twice that the Navy got pulled second.
I need a better chance. A better job of mixing it up.
Next up will be the number 44, Colby Vance.
Marines.
Marines. Now that's a good shot. You saw the way he drove through the field last week.
Mm-hmm.
Next up will be Danny Harrell at number 95.
There's 3 left. You got Space Force.
Space Force. All right. Next up will be last week's winner, Sammy Gata at number 21.
Army.
The Army. So that'll leave Jonathan White, Coast Guard.
Yeah. Coast Guard.
All right. So to recap, Gordon Weeks, Air Force, Dale Nichols, Navy, Colby Vance, the Marines, Danny Harrell, Space Force, Sammy Gata, Army, and Jonathan White, Coast Guard. Who do you think is going to win that one?
My vote's Gordon Weeks.
Weeks? Okay. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Colby. I'm going to go with the Marines on that one.
What do you think?
I think Gator. I mean, they did some stuff last week, won this past week, and I think they're on a roll. I think Sammy's going to be hard to beat.
And it's a sweet looking car, so.
Yeah.
They're all mixed up. Let's see.
All right, next up will be the Grand Stocks. And first up for them will be the number 17 of Tim Wilson.
It's good to see Tim back in the field.
It's good to get the Grand Stocks out there.
Yeah.
All right, next up will be the 14 of Paul Lubno. Speaking of glad to see someone back.
Mm-hmm. Another one.
Yeah. Air Force.
Air Force. All right, then the next will be the 29 of Bill Eaker.
Man, this man needs a win in this division. Sorry. Navy.
Navy.
Little Chief coin.
Yeah. Next up will be the 47 of Nate Lundeen.
Nate's ran well in his first race out there.
So, Space Force.
Next up will be Mike Parker, number 22.
Marines.
Marines. Is that what leaves the number 8 of Ethan Hartman, Army. All right, Tim Wilson, the Coast Guard, Paul Lubno, Air Force, Bill Eaker, Navy, Nate Lundeen, Space Force, Mike Parker, Marines, Ethan Hartman, the Army. Who you got on that one, Jack?
Tim Wilson.
Tim Wilson?
I think it's hard to go against Tim Wilson.
Right now it is, yeah.
Yeah, but you wait until Paul Lubno gets that car back to what it was running. But then you also can't really sleep on Bill Eaker because Rick Hester knows how to put a grand stock together.
He does, and that car's been fast, even with
Bill's just got to get used to coming off of that U-car and Enduro because it's been a while since he's been in a Super Street. So having that big, heavy car, rear-wheel drive, might be a little different.
And Bill said he was in the Navy. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
There you go. Yeah, and he works at the shipyard.
Yeah,
So, yeah. Perfect. Next up will be the Super Trucks.
I don't know if his son's still in the Navy or not.
All right, first up, points leader, I think, right? Hunter Waltrip.
All right, let's go
Number
Space Force.
33.
I don't know with the last race. I don't know if he still is or not. I don't know.
With
Yeah, he's tied with Bill.
Okay, there you go.
Let's go Space Force. Well, I was just joking. I promise I can't see him.
Hunter will have Space Force. Next up, Bill Wallace, number 19.
You got Army.
Army. Next up is Donald Brown.
All right. He's a senior chief in the Navy, so let's see if we can get him in the Navy. We got him in the Navy.
You got him in the Navy. Look at you go. Next up, Chris McAvoy.
Boy.
That's
Go
the
ahead,
third
Jeff.
time. That's the third time you've been pulling.
He's looking down at the computer.
I know. The
I'm
third-
reading the comments as I'm going.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm like, I can read. You know.
Are you gonna keep on playing this game with me, right?
I'll be nice. I'll stop. All right. Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
Still trying to figure out why my grandson thinks he's so great.
Probably because, you know,
Don't
He's
even,
great.
don't go there.
we're pretty. We have a lot in common there, Jack. So,
All right. Next up, the only rookie that'll be in the field, Gates Kubieski. Kubieski, the number 4. If I said that wrong, I apologize. I gotta learn from Brian.
Carson says it's fixed. Here we go. Which one's that again?
Air Force. Which will leave
Marines for Chase.
Marines for Chase McAdams.
That's a good one.
15.
It's a good one.
All right, so recap. Hunter Waltrip represents Space Force. Bill Wallace has the Army. Donald Brown has the Navy. Chris McAvoy has the Coast Guard. Gates Kubieski has the Air Force. Chase McAdams with the Marines.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we're going to do the carts.
Okay, I'm cool.
Here, I'll mix them up a little bit for you there, Carson.
Make a bunch in there. That way you
Can you hear them mixing it up in there?
All right, first up in the carts is Ryan Hudgens.
Ryan Hudgens. Here we are. Space
Represent
Force.
the Space Force. Next up will be the number 30, Jeffrey Johnson.
I'm not saying nothing this time, Jack. I'm not saying nothing this time, Jack. Air Force.
Air Force. Next up will be the 46, David Phelps. Navy.
Navy.
All right, next up will be the 06, John Snyder.
That's a little one. Coast Guard.
Coast Guard. All right, and then last year's champion, Danny Wyatt. Army.
Marines are always last.
Which leaves Cullen Roberts with the Marines. You got something against the Marines?
I mean, no, not really. Army, yes. Marines,
All right,
yeah,
so to recap, Ryan Hudgens will represent the Space Force. Jeffrey Johnson will represent the Air Force. David Phelps will represent the Navy. John Snyder will represent the Coast Guard. Danny Wyatt will represent the Army. And Cullen Roberts will represent the Marines. And last but not least will be the UCARs.
Hey, you want to mix them up this time?
Nah, go ahead and put them in. You want to do like a martini? And shake it out?
Right there you go.
I get really loud.
Old Donald here. Old break check himself.
All right. First up will be Hayden Sheldon.
All right. Marines came out first that time.
There you go.
I broke the streak.
All right. Next up will be Charlie Bryant, number 88.
I gotta get that a good one. Oh, shit. Space Force.
Space Force.
Space Force is gonna have a good crowd this time.
All right. Next up will be Bill Eaker again in the 22. Now, if he gets the Navy again this time,
I'm gonna give him the Air
the Air
Force.
Force. All right. So this next one, Dwight Nichols is 4th in UCARs.
Mm-hmm.
With his accident, he will more than likely not be able to compete.
Oh yeah.
For the time being, we are going to skip 4th place and we will go to 5th place for Dustin Connor, and we'll come back to that. On what we'll do. So next up will be the number 32 of Dustin Connor.
I don't know why he's driving. I mean, Spike's a much better driver.
Coast Guard. Doesn't she drive the Enduro? Or
Yeah,
an
but she
Enduro?
drove the UCAR last year, or
Okay.
year before last. You're just giving him a hard time.
Next up will be Carl Twitty.
Maybe.
Yeah, Donald Brown was asking how the trucks went.
Yeah, he got Space Force.
Now-
Casey said he got Navy.
What we're going to do now is we will go to 7th in points for the last pick, which will be Christian Keller. And who does he get? Army one that's left? Army. All right, so what's going to happen there? Christian is essentially going to represent Dwight's place on the team. So Dwight and Christian will both represent the Army. And what will happen is if Christian were to be a part, or seeing how Christian is on the Army, if Army is the winning team at the end of the night, both Christian and Dwight will receive the $100 and the 4 tickets.
That's cool.
As well. And then we'll try to help out with the helmets that are going to go around this coming up or next week. That'll help out with Dwight. So we want to send our thoughts and prayers out to Dwight for a quick recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know he was able to tune into the Flow broadcast last week.
Oh, was it? Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was nice to see him on there. So, what we'll do is for the U cars, the Army will be represented by both Dwight Nichols and Christian Keller.
Very good.
Can you tell what the trucks are? Donald Brown is not sure what he got.
Yeah, so the trucks will be Hunter Waltrip will represent Space Force. Bill Wallace will represent the Army. Donald will represent the Navy. Chris McAvoy will represent the Coast Guard. Gates Kobieski will represent the Air Force. And Chase McAdams will represent the Marines.
All righty. There you go, Donald.
So we'll also have graphics and everything that'll get released throughout the week leading up to the race. And let's have some fun.
Well, we appreciate you coming on here and doing it here, and
Absolutely.
Can't wait to see it happen this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
I know. I mean, this has been going on since I can remember.
Several years. It has evolved over the years. I mean, as it should. At first, it started out with just the late models, and usually it was done at or around Memorial Day weekend. And then we added the modifieds in it. And then it evolved into this whole team competition. Now, unfortunately, that we've been able to name the cup after Louis Pasteur, right? It's taken on a whole other meaning.
Right. Yeah.
That not only is his family and the trucks but the whole speedway can get involved in something like that. Not only just because Louis was a champion here, but all of the military. I mean, we have a active duty member right here, so it's great to be able to come together and be a racing family and honor those who serve and honor Louis.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it's a great thing. So. Well, everybody be here Saturday night. See what's going on. See what happens.
If you can always check us out on Flow.
That's right. More fun to be here, even with Rick Poust around.
Yeah. I gotta keep you on your toes, Jack.
Oh yeah, thank you.
All right.
Find a way to slide.
Next up on the list, we're gonna go ahead and get
ripping everything out. You want me to leave the cup there or take it? What do you want me to do? I can hang out for a while. Y'all usually done at 8, right?
Yeah, 8:20.
Yeah, come on around here and bring the old man around behind you.
I mean, Jack could have moved out of the way and just let y'all over, but then.
Give Rick Powell something to do while he's here.
Hey,
I just want you to know my grandson went into spasms tonight when I left.
Really? He couldn't come?
He couldn't come. He had Boy Scouts that he had to go to tonight.
No, no.
And they're getting prepared for their summer camp, so he couldn't
Well,
come.
that's important. Well, next time he's around, I'll have a T-shirt for him.
All right, we got Tristan McKee. So went down to Dillon and schooled the boys down at Dillon. How was that like? What was that like? Is that your first cars win?
Yep, that was my first one.
No, I know you went to get your first win, but I knew that.
For course, yeah, of course.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean,
And you won that in spite of Skinnell being your crew chief.
yeah, surprising.
That's a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, we started third, I think, and then we fell back to sixth and just rode. I mean, until the first caution, and I think we gained a spot or two, and then just, rode and rode and rode. Just, everybody else burnt their stuff a little more than we did, so we rode into the last caution, and then I think I was in third or fourth, and then I got by into second place, and then worked on the first place car and got by him, and then just drove away pretty much.
Did you have to put the bump and run on him to get by?
No.
Oh, man, come on. You got to come and help us with this now. Yeah, I moved him out of the way.
No, I did not. I didn't even touch him. I passed him cleanly.
You passed him clean?
He said he was so fast he didn't have to.
Yeah, we were pretty good. I mean, I think he was pretty good, but he got a little looser than we did because, he was out front the whole race pretty much and might have brought his stuff up. But I felt like we were pretty good at the end of the race.
Who was that that finished second?
Well, Katie finished second, but he was running. Ashton Higgins was running first.
That's who I thought. Okay, yeah, okay.
Then I come.
So Katie finished second. Don't you feel guilty for beating a girl?
I love it.
You love it? I like Katie. Katie's cool.
Yeah.
So, but I guess you're not old enough now to understand those things. So you go ahead and beat her all you want to.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I thought it was hilarious. I loved it.
So when's your next race?
Caraway on the Wednesday.
Okay. What was it like at Dillon? Now, Dillon's that's a different type of track a little bit, isn't it? Because of how it's made up.
Well, Dillon's kind of banked, ain't it? Dillon's not a flat track.
Yeah, it's pretty banked. I mean, it's weird. The track is weird itself. There's a big old bump going into turn 1, and then 3 and 4 is just kind of the line you run is very different, and you have to cross over the line, and it's just a very different track. It's fun, though.
Had you raced there before?
Yeah, one time in the Carolina Pro.
Now, do you do any sim racing to try to figure some of these tracks out that you may or may not have been to?
Some of the tracks that are on there I do, but Dillon is not one I'm racing, so I can't really. We went and tested, but other than that, we just tested the day before.
With a crew chief like you got over there, you got an experienced crew chief over there. He's been everywhere and been there 1,000 times. He's been around for 100 years. He knows all this stuff.
I've been there.
But they're close in age, the way SKINNELL acts.
Oh, mentality, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it like working with him at the racetrack? Does he get on your case sometimes?
Not really. I mean, sometimes maybe, but not really. Not usually.
Not really.
Not usually. I mean, we work well together. It's pretty
Man,
good.
come on. You're not helping me at all here. I'm trying to get something going.
He pushes me and I push him. Big dog.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, well,
Most of the time, Sometimes he gets a little hard-headed and stuff like that.
Now this is what we want to hear. Keep going.
He don't get hard-headed.
Well, I was down at Southern National when y'all raced. I didn't see him get. I didn't see you get.
For the pro or the classic?
Well, we went down there for the first race this year. For the pro.
Oh.
The pro race, yeah.
Mason said, "Don't let DUANE tell you he works hard."
Well, I'm glad to see Mason doesn't like somebody else around here.
But DUANE, this has got to be when you show up at a racetrack with a young kid like this that's obviously doing well. It's got to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it is.
I mean, because I'm sure people think, "Oh, this young kid, he's going to get some experience running the back." But obviously he's running pretty damn well, right? So it's got to be a ton of fun. I mean, you got to walk into the racetrack with a pep in your step or your chest poked out.
It's the most fun I've had in a long time. I'll put it to you that way. I love going to racetrack. Can't wait to Caraway.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you have as a crew chief? Now, I know I've been around you and I know certain things about you. But what do you have that, I mean, you had another young driver one time before and you were very successful. And now you got another one and you seem to be very successful. How do you work on that? How do you relate to that?
I can't answer it. I'll be honest, I can't. But I love it.
I mean,
they ain't got no bad traits or nothing like it. You get older drivers, they got the bad habits and you just cannot get them out of them bad habits.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that, right?
Yeah.
There really is.
Mm-hmm.
So, so do you spend a lot of time with him when he's practicing or whatever to say, look, you need to do this. It's a little bit different.
I've talked to him some on that, but I'm going to tell you, I'll go anywhere at a track that he ain't never seen before. Anywhere. And I'll promise you by the 4th or 5th lap, he will be up to speed. And I won't have to say a word. He's got it, Jack.
So you just got a natural talent.
A little bit.
Greenville
We
Pickens.
practice a lot.
Greenville Pickens, never seen the place before. He walks in there and looks at it. Last drive I was there, he couldn't get around and save his butt. He goes out there 5th lap on the track,
Second lap.
2nd lap, top of the bowl.
Get it straight. Get it straight, Dwayne.
Yeah, come on, Dwayne. Give him some credit. Man. He's,
I mean, and he loved that track.
Oh, that's my favorite track. It's so fast in tight corners and flat. I love flat tracks.
So when will you be able to run some of NASCAR sanctioned tracks?
And when I'm
14.
14.
In 14? Is that next year or the year
Next
after?
year. I turn
Next
14
year?
next year, yeah.
So I mean, you got to be really can't wait till next year.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it in your eyes, Dwayne.
We can go to Martinsville next year.
We will be at Martinsville next year.
So what do you guys already have sort of a plan of scheduled races maybe next year that you're circling,
Not
or are you just trying to get through this year and then that? What's on the schedule for this year?
You know, the rest of the Cars Tour and the big races at the end of the year in late model stocks, like the Classic, probably the 400, maybe Carteret, and a couple other ones, maybe Goodyear.
Snowflake.
Mm-hmm.
Going back.
yeah,
on that?
he said something about going to the Snowflake. You and I talked about that. So, that's
We'll probably go run a couple of them races before that to get a feel of everything.
that'd be cool. Go down to Pensacola and hang out with them big boys down there now.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Check. I like Five Flags on iRacing, so.
So what you need to do is when you go in the racetrack, just act like you just walk in and don't act like you're not there to race. Just walk on in and then when you go out there and race, they'll be surprised about how much talent you got. You got a lot of talent. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you. We've raced against, Rackler and them. They're good down there. Dodson'S won the past 2. So I'm sure they'll be down there and a bunch of other teams.
Now, when you're racing somewhere, does everybody know how young you are? Or when you get out of the car, do people like, did you just get out of that car?
Yeah, most of the time they all know.
Believe it or not, when I first met Matt DiBenedetto, he wasn't much bigger than him. That's the first. And when he got out of the car, he was driving a 4-cylinder. He got out of the car. I said, that ain't the driver. And my son kept saying, yeah, that's the guy driving the car. I said, no, I can't be.
Kind of like last time they came.
Well,
When
the
you
time
asked
before
Dwayne
that,
where
I
was
asked
the
Dwayne
driver
where
at.
his driver was, and he's right there.
You remember that, Dwayne?
I didn't.
You were just used to that by then.
What's it like around there with all them guys in the pits and everything? Do they give you a hard time or tease you and just play with aggravate you?
Not really. I mean, sometimes they get mad when we do better than them, but like some people were mad after we won, but it's all pretty good.
Well, they got to be mad about something.
Yeah.
At least you won the race.
Yeah, exactly.
They can be all mad all they want to.
As long as we're legal.
Question, so Dwayne, did you grease the upper yet?
Who was that, Mason Dunn? Tell him that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, for the win and everything that you did down at, seems like I did it right.
So I was just going to compliment you, Jack. The one and
You
only
were the
time.
driver of the week that week. You went down there and schooled him down at Dillon. So congratulations.
Thank you.
The driver of the week.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you give him a cup too, or you?
Oh, I got to get it. I didn't even think about that.
That's cool.
I'll get you a cup.
All right.
We have a cup we give away with it too. So I'll get you.
I mean, it ain't worth anything, but I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take that somewhere and they're just gonna say, well, what's that for? Big deal.
That's cool. I like that. Thank you.
So we were thinking about doing a crew chief of the week too. I said, no, Wayne don't. That just make his head be so big he can't get it out of the door.
That's true.
I like this kid already.
So how much time do you spend with Dwayne at the
Every day.
No Lord.
My office is in our shop.
Huh?
Like my office that I do my schoolwork is at our shop. It's upstairs.
You got an office?
Because I do online school and we do graphics and stuff like that.
Now do you work on the car?
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. You get in there and get your hands.
Does Dwayne have an office?
No.
No. Just at
Downstairs.
downstairs at the restaurant.
Yeah, the whole shop.
So you can put that in your office. Don't let it.
Hang it up on the wall.
Yeah, don't put it down there nowhere near him. You know, it's really that's for you because you really wanted. He didn't know how.
No, he didn't do nothing. He just made the car turn. Pretty simple.
I mean, you had to drive through that, right, to get there.
Yeah.
But Dwayne, when he's driving, when he's racing, does he give you good feedback to what's going on with the car? I mean, being 12 years old, sometimes you got to think, well, how much does he really know about what's going on? But it seems like he knows a lot more than you would think. So.
He does. He does. He makes my job sometimes easier. And we done figured out some stuff at Dillon this race and at North Wilkesboro. And yeah, it's really helping me understand where he needs the car to be when he gets cooler versus during the day. We're figuring that out. So,
what was it like racing at Wilkesboro?
It was amazing. It was a great time. I mean, there's a bunch of fans there, you know. It was very cool. Like,
you know, it's got to be cool. And Scott and I have said this before about how the Cars Tour, how it's developed over the last, and it's really gotten strong this year.
yeah.
You think about it with Dale Jr. and everybody getting involved. That's got to be really cool when they go to a place like Wilkesboro, and you go down there. A 12-year-old goes down to Wilkesboro and is running at that famed legend track down there. That's got to be cool.
Yeah,
Was it hard on the tires down there?
I mean, it was not crazy bad. Like,
I mean, back in the day, it wasn't. I mean, it used to not be hard on tires.
Everybody says, you know, it's really bad on tires, but it's really not that bad. Like, at the end of the race, we weren't like crazy loose or anything. I mean, it was just a great time. There was a bunch of fans, you know. Dale Jr. was there, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, and a bunch of other people.
Now, could you tell that going down the front stretch, you're going downhill, and when you come
a little bit, you can tell it going on the back stretch. You're going up a little bit.
All right, let's take a hold on just a minute. Don't go nowhere. We're gonna get back to Rick in just a second too. So let's get. I know he's on the road, riding down the road. Hey, Rob, how's it doing, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you guys?
All right, we're doing good. Now I hear you're on the road going from Indy to Iowa. So I know
that's true.
So are you
that's true.
Indy testing over there?
Yeah, we're going to Iowa Speedway for my rookie test there tomorrow. We do rookie tests all the ovals and in IndyCar. So yeah, we're doing our little road trip here. We got back from Milwaukee yesterday from the Road America track and back in the car today on the road.
You know, I saw you at the Indianapolis 500 in the race at Indy, and I said, man, I got to get this guy on here because you just impressed me. And for some reason, you stuck out compared to some of those other guys.
For some reason, yeah, I don't know what it might be. Maybe the name.
That's got to be cool to have that name. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you guys know the story at all?
No, we didn't. I don't know what the story is on that.
Do you want me to tell it? I can tell it here quick.
Tell it. Yeah, we want to hear it.
It's well practiced at this point. So the story goes, the cool part of the story, I like to lead off with that way people listen in. But my parents were big Corvette fans. And so they decided to name me after the Stingray Corvette. My dad's actually got a 1966 C2 Stingray in the garage at home. But I grew up around Corvette club meetings, drag races, autocross events. I actually took my first steps at a Corvette club meeting. I normally have a Honda logo up that I have to cover when I'm talking about this. That way, don't get upset with me talking about Corvettes and everything. But that's the cool side of the story, and that kind of tells you where I got my passion for racing from. And then the longer side of the story, which is actually like the more intuitive side, is the heritage. My dad's side of the family's heritage is from Stirlingshire, Scotland, with Robb being our last name. And so Sting is actually short for Sterling. And then both of my grandfathers had Ray in their name. And so it was kind of a combo deal there. And worked out well. I'm a race car driver now, and not like an accountant or lawyer, an attorney or something that people aren't going to trust because they got a crazy name.
That's cool. Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. Now, Scott told me something tonight when he came in that you did run a few ARCA races or K&N races.
That's correct. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your background in that.
Yeah, so I did the K&N West Series. I think I'm the youngest ever K&N West driver to ever run. I don't know if that's still true to this day, but at the time I was, and that was back in, I want to say 2016. That was during my time when I was transitioning from go-karts into cars. And so I wanted to make sure that whatever I ended up doing, it was the path that I enjoyed the most. And so I tried NASCAR, I tried dirt modified, I tried open wheel, did go-karting in Europe. And so I did a couple of Canon West races. Didn't enjoy it as much as I liked the open wheel. But I did like the Meridian Speedway Idaho 208 race. I did the Utah Motorsports campus race, and actually was in the race that Haley Deegan won her first event at, which is like, you know, we all got beat by a girl, but it was just funny that I had to go through that with the rest of them. So it was kind of cool to see. You know, I think that she wheeled it pretty hard that whole race, and it was kind of a good experience for me to go around a quarter mile with that many drivers and wheel bang and do all the other fun stuff in NASCAR.
So how did you get move over to Indy? I mean, IndyCar. How did that progress?
So at the same time, I was doing open wheel. And the next year, I entered in the Road to Indy, which is the ladder system to IndyCar. Just like NASCAR has ARCA, and you work your way out through trucks, Xfinity Cup. We did. Initially, it was USF 2000. It used to be called Pro Mazda. It's now changed to the USF Pro 2000. And then now you have Indy Next and then IndyCar. And so I skipped actually that bottom rung of USF 2000 and went straight to the USF Pro 2000 level. And I ran there for a few years, won the championship in 2020. And when you win a championship in the Road to Indy, you get a scholarship to move on to the next level. And so for me, that was Indy Next. It used to be called Indy Lights. Yeah. So I ran there for 2 years and finished second in that championship last year. And it was enough to propel me on this year into IndyCar.
Now, you're driving for Rick Ware too, right? I mean, that's your car.
That's correct. Yep.
I mean, you know, he's involved in. I don't know what he's not involved in,
yes,
to tell you the truth. But what's it like working with him? I mean, you know, does he appear a lot of your races and everything?
He comes to a few. He came to the 500. He actually drew my qualifying number. He did a great job of that, by the way. Shout out to Rick. He drew a perfect number for us. But yeah, Rick's come to a few races. I've gone to a couple NASCAR. Or actually, I went to the Circuit of the Americas race down in Texas with him. And that was really fun to watch. And I got to sit in on the drivers' meeting and see all the guys and shake hands with everyone and talk to Austin Cindric for a bit, Cody Ware at the time. And then, you know, just kind of cool to be in the NASCAR paddock again and getting to see a lot of those guys. And being on the inside a little bit with Rick it was really cool. And Rick's a good dude. You know, I think that like the rest of us, he's got a huge passion for motorsports. And so it's kind of cool to see how that plays out into his business. And like you said, he's got his fingers in all kinds of motorsport pies. So it's kind of fun to be tied to all those different names.
That's for sure. Right? He's got a little bit of everything. Do you have any interest in down the road somewhere, maybe going to NASCAR and trying NASCAR out?
You know, the goal right now is IndyCar. I mean, I wouldn't mind winning a few championships here first, and then I can go look around and see what it's like on the other part of motorsports. But, you know, I've got dreams of running in Le Mans at one point. You know, that's a bucket list item. Maybe doing the Baja 1000 and Daytona 500s on that list as well. So there's definitely some races I want to check off before that. But, you know, for the moment, IndyCar is where I'm at and what I'm focused on.
Well, I'll tell you what, you did good at Indy. So, you know, I mean, you had some issues there, but you did good there. So that's pretty good deal for you.
Hey, so, what was it like to make that race? I mean, when you knew you were in, what's the emotions going through your mind?
Oh man, I don't know if you can have any more strong emotions, positive or negative. Like it's both ends of the spectrum at Indy. And you know, going into qualifying day, I thought that we had a pretty decent car. And on that track with the cars that we got, we just produced so much downforce at 230 miles an hour that you're flat out. I mean, you're full throttle for 4 laps, that 10 miles. And so there's not much you can do as a driver at that point. You're just hoping that you don't have to lift or get a gust of wind that pushes you into the wall or whatever else. And so I felt like I did my job pretty good, and it wasn't enough to move us on into the top 30. And so we actually had to go into the last chance qualifier, and that's not really a position that anyone wants to be in because, you know, in Indy 500, only 33 cars can make it in for the running of the race. And there's 34 that we're trying to qualify. So there's one guy that has to go home. And so being the last chance qualifier, you're in that position of like, Am I going to make it? Am I not? What's going to happen? Is something going to go wrong? Because like you have a mechanical error, you're done. You know, so everything has to be on the car, tight, ready to go. And not only that, it has to be fast. You have to beat the other guys around you. And we did a good enough job that there's 4 of us for the last chance qualifier, and I was second out, and I put it in a good enough position that we had to have 2 guys beat us instead of 1. And so that was good enough that I knew I wasn't going to get bumped. But you're sitting there, and for 45 minutes, I had to wait for the clock to run out. And so at that time, you're like, you don't want to celebrate because you celebrate too much, and one of the guys bumps the car, you get disqualified for touching the car. And so just little things like that, you're like, every little detail you're paying attention to, and you're hyper focused, and your nerves are on edge. You got butterflies floating around your stomach like crazy. And then when it finally happens, it's like this big release. Like, okay, we're in the Indy 500. And you know what? One thing I will say, looking back, I think I'm more appreciative of it now because it made me see the whole show. You know, I got to experience it more, and made me realize what Indy 500 really is and what it really means to everyone that's in it, that watches it, and it just gave me a better appreciation for it all.
It's got to be interesting when you go to Indy with all the pageantry and everything they got going on there, and all the parade and all this other stuff, everything they got going on. And that's got to be on your mind when you get ready to go to the racetrack and say, "Oh, I got to do this now." But stuff around it.
Absolutely. You know, I think being a fan there the 2 years previous and seeing it in person was really good for me because I kind of appreciate what it's like to be a fan there and see what it's all about. And then stepping on the behind the scenes as a driver, you kind of miss out on that because you're focused on doing your job.
Right.
And you don't get to see the pageantry of it all. And so for myself, I really enjoyed having both perspectives of that and having it so recently. You know, I think there's a lot of drivers in the series that will never be able to experience that because they've been racing since, you know, I was born. They've been racing since the early 2000s. And so for a lot of them, I think that they're kind of stuck in this. The Indy 500 is actually just like the highest point of pressure that they're going to have in their career. And they have to do that year after year after year after year. And they don't get to experience it as a fan and get to enjoy it and have that motivate them through their career.
Well, we appreciate you spending some time. I know you're on the road, got a lot going on, getting ready to head over to Iowa. Appreciate you taking time out to talk with us for a few minutes. And we'll be pulling for you. Hope to see you do well up in Iowa.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, look, and I'll tell you one more thing. Tell Kimmy I said thank you for what she did. She hung with me on that for a couple of days getting that together.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a tough negotiator too. She's what I like to call my momager. She's my mom and my manager, and so she keeps me in line just like the rest of y'all. So she does a good job. I appreciate her.
All right, we'll talk to you again. Be careful, and we'll see you down the road somewhere.
All righty, thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you. Would you like to do an Indy 500 someday?
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, could you imagine? That's got to be like the longest 45 minutes of your life.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking like, am I going to get bumped out? You know, make another run. Somebody else makes another run.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, Pete.
I mean, be like us to the 500. Making it when you had to qualify for it a bunch.
Yeah, it's not as hard as it used to be to get in the 500.
Not that many cars that come. There's enough. That's who they
Well,
have.
Tristan, I appreciate you coming out and being here tonight. And congratulations. Got the driver of the week. Yeah. And you did it without a mafia. So that's pretty cool. So go out and get another win real soon.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. Can't wait.
Do the best you can. I know you got DUANE with you. So just overlook him and keep going. You'll be all right.
We plan on getting the wins tonight.
Wednesday night.
Caraway.
Oh, Caraway's Wednesday night.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't in on that one too good there for a second. All right. Well, good luck to you, man.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. All right. Let's get Big Motor POUST over here.
Give me that big money, man.
Or big mouth.
Big mouth. Motor mouth. Motor mouth Jack Dodson.
You better talk nice to me. My grandson thinks you're great. You talk trash about me, he may not like you.
Well, that's why he likes me.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah. Where's it at?
At home.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll be watching, and we'll get you back on here again. So. Go get us another win. All right.
You act like you're part of the team. Go get us another win.
Well, I mean, for the show. For the show.
It's exciting, man. I keep doing
Tell me about it.
See
you later.
See you, Dwight. See you, buddy.
it.
I mean, can you imagine being 12 years old and have this kind of success already?
Man,
You wouldn't be able to tell me
He's got-
nothing.
Nope.
You wouldn't be able to tell me nothing.
Track championship.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
like,
impressive.
you know, like,
Man, I probably wouldn't be able to figure out.
And
what
that was
to go by.
before-
I mean, my head wouldn't even fit through the door to get in here.
No. And he seems like a very humble kid.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just a
I mean,
normal
definitely
kid.
crazy. I mean,
So what was it like for you? I know one thing. I know one young man that was about to tear himself all to pieces when you won that race that night.
Yeah,
So what was it like to get back in victory lane again?
man, it felt good because the competition in the trucks has gone through the roof. Like, there's so many trucks in that field that could win. And, one slip up, you're all of a sudden in fourth. Like you start on the outside row, you're going to get freight trained to fourth, fifth. So you start to, like, at least with me, I started to doubt my chances to ever get back there because Hunter's tough every week. Chris, he's tough every week. So if you don't get the pole, you're going back to at least third because the outside never really
it might
had a
now.
lot of grip. But I'm looking down there in turn 4. It looks like the
Outside might be a good place to be.
Yeah, turn 2. I mean, they got a new little grip strip
I
down
know.
there.
There's for y'all who don't know, there's 2 brand new little strips on the outside coming off of both corners.
Yeah, they're not little.
Brand new asphalt, almost to the straightaway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be in. I mean, I think it's going to add a big dynamic.
There's gonna be a lot of
racing.
I think side by side racing is going to be a thing now.
But it almost seems like they did it on purpose.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Get that outside line
I mean,
going.
maybe not, but it could almost be played that way because it truly, I think that's going to make a big difference, especially for a restart or side by side. I don't know if you want to be on the inside, especially with some new fresh asphalt.
Well, I guess this weekend will show whether you want to be on the inside or outside.
Facts.
It's going to be a big learning curve. That in the trucks alone, that patch out turn 2 there is going to make a huge difference because it took my advantage away from me. Because everybody likes to push up out of 2, where I've got my truck where I can nail the bottom of 2.
You got yours already turned.
I got it turning already, and now everybody's going to have some turn until they don't. Which
We're gonna have some
also
grip.
well, yeah.
Well,
I
maybe
mean,
you
that
just
one
need to
doesn't
go to the
go
outside.
Yeah, well, that one doesn't go all the way to the wall, so we're all the way
Well,
out.
neither one of them do.
Well, exit a turn 2 rather. I'll get it out of
Well, actually, you're gonna be on. Well, that one's gonna be much trickier. But over
Yeah.
here, coming to the line is
Yeah.
gonna be
It's gonna
because
be
that's on the
We're
bottom.
not
Of it.
finished with this out here yet.
No.
They're not finished with that one? Oh.
No,
Can you see that if you look down, there's still water in the holes there where they graded it out.
Oh, I see it now.
So they've got to come back and do some more.
The inside line's going to have some grip
Okay,
too,
so
it's going to be the
all
same.
way then maybe.
Either way, it's going to be a new dynamic to racing, and this weekend's racing is going to be fun to watch. So
Yeah.
if you,
I know some people hate that, but I think it adds a lot of character, right? And character makes for good racing.
it doesn't make a difference to me. So the truck's wicked regardless of what they put on the track.
Yeah.
And 8 tires always handle better than 4.
Not always. It depends on which side of the 8 tires you are.
On the bottom.
I've experienced both sides this season.
But this year in the truck series, think about it. In your truck division, WALTRIP's had a rough time getting started.
Yes.
I mean, even though he's top of points right now
Mhm.
and got a win, but he's had a tough time. Yeah, Chris Roberts, he has had a terrible time
You
getting
can't
started
catch a
this year.
break.
Yeah.
That's all
So
right,
you
though.
can go all the way from there to having a hard time catching breaks now.
It's a game of chess, man. You gotta make sure you pull the cards and move your pawns and everything at the right time. Man, I can't speak tonight. I apologize, guys. But
Too much motor.
no, not enough motor now. No. But as far as
Look, I sent a message the week before last when he won the race, and I was hoping somebody would pay attention to it. Okay, I sent a message down there, and I sent a message to Justin.
Oh,
I'm not
You
Justin.
read-
Stickman. Stickman was up here. I
He's
sent a
really
message.
trying to get something
I
started.
said, y'all might want to look at that truck.
They
And
did.
then I
So
went.
it's your fault.
Then I went ha ha behind it. I no wonder let them know I was joking, right?
Oh, see, Jack. No, they tore the rear end out of the truck. I still don't have it back together.
You gotta get it back together.
With friends like that, you don't need no enemies.
No, I have to get it back together, but it's so with the contact with Dawn, it broke a lot of stuff in the front end. So the whole front bumper and both fenders, the hood, just that little hiccup on the first start there. We messed a lot of stuff up, and I think I even got the radiator. So I got to JU weld that thing back together.
Oh man.
And then the rear end got taken out for tech, so I got to get. Been trying to pull the axles. I broke the brake line, so I got to fix that. So, cost a little bit of money to win that race.
Yeah. No, if you're trying to make money out of it, you ain't gonna make it.
Oh no, it just sucks because I'm a one-man crew, so it takes a little bit of time.
Are you running this weekend? Or?
I plan on it, so it's just gonna be a lot of late nights. I'm off work this week. Took a week off to spend some time with the kiddos. It's their first week out of school, so we were supposed to go up to Pittsburgh. I was supposed to miss this race. Hayden was supposed to have a baseball game up there, baseball tournament, but that got canceled. So
we're lucky for you.
Yeah. I'm lucky for Jack. He gets to see me race again.
That's right.
Bad part about it is I'm not sure whether Clay's going to be able to be here this weekend or not because his All-Star tournament is another tournament's coming up this weekend.
Oh, really?
So
that's all right. Hunter will be back, I'm sure.
Well,
he won't miss much.
I might have to blow that off this time because I went all weekend, this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter's tough to beat, so if he's back and running full speed, man. I'll be chasing.
Well, if he quits working on the car, he might be able to finish something. No. I mean, you got to give it to Hunter because they have really put in a lot of work in we shouldn't talk about sponsors like that, Jack.
What? We don't
about Hunter.
Oh yeah, that's right, Hunter.
Yeah, you guys are on his team. That's why I gotta watch what I say.
I always said he's a much better comedian than he is a race car driver.
You got that right.
Yeah, well,
I mean, he's only got like 300,000 or 400,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
So there's no doubt. Some of the stuff I don't know how in the hell he comes up with it.
It's quick too. It's like, geez.
I know it was actually. I think the first time when TikTok first started coming, I'm scrolling through it, and I'm like, that voice sounds familiar. and then like people are stealing his voice on all these other videos. I'm like, that's Hunter. Like, what the hell's he doing? Like, and then you finally see the real video with his voice, and I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Rick, get the rear end fixed on the car. You think you'd be ready on the truck? You'd be ready to go this weekend?
We'll be ready. Hopefully, it stays together. But
it's been rough this year. Do you have any changes that you want to make? Like, how good is the truck? You got a few things you want to try and work on.
We've been chasing some small issues. It likes to like snap on me in the middle of the corner. I don't know what the deal's going on with it. I don't know if something's bad because we've had a lot of contact this year with the first race and that big wreck, and then a few other instances of contact. Right? Something's bent, broken, pushed out of place, and I just haven't found it yet because going down in the turns, turn 3 and 4 is pretty good because of the new pavement. There's a lot of grip.
3 and 4 is a lot easier.
But 1 and 2, it has this moment. I don't know if it's a bump in the track I just haven't found. I gotta stop hitting it or what, but that thing shoots up the track real quick. And it's not much. It's like 6 to 8 inches, but it's enough if you're running tight. Or you're gonna get
magnified.
You're gonna get into the vehicle on the outside of you. And I have to find what's going on. Because that was part of the problem with me in the 88 is I hit the inside there where the truck don't like, and we met in the middle. So it led to a big problem from there. So,
wow.
It didn't do it this last race.
Now you were good this last race.
Yeah, I was taking it easy too. So maybe that was the key to success. I wasn't driving.
Wasn't overdriving?
I wasn't overdriving it. Maybe that's the problem all along. Is I was just driving too hard into the corner. But I mean, I'm still a little rusty. It's been a little while. I mean, I came out and practiced. The truck did well, and then, or before the season started, I came out. We practiced. Everything was perfect. Just the way we left it before deployment. came out for that first race, and the sway bar bolt fell out. And you wouldn't believe how much of a difference it makes whenever you lose something like that.
Yeah, a sway bar is a big component.
Yeah. Like that sway bar bolt came out, and it's the left front where you make all your adjustments in the trucks and stuff. And I haven't gotten it right since. My dad worked for probably 4 or 5 races in a row to get that thing right back in 2019. And it's one of those things where as long as it doesn't get bent or broken, you check, make sure it's tight still, and make sure it's where you want it. But you don't have to mess with it. But then it came out, and it's back to ground zero. I just haven't found it.
You didn't mark like how many washers or whatever you got in to say
no. No, I wasn't allowed to work on the truck when Dad was doing it because he was superstitious about a driver working on the truck.
Oh, really?
So that, and we didn't always see eye to eye. He's a very smart man, and it took me quite a few races to figure out how smart he was. Like when we started parking it in victory lane back to back, it's like, okay, maybe I should listen to this man.
I wish I'd just let him do what he does.
Yeah, unfortunately, his health has kept him away from up here. So
really?
He's down.
That's tough.
It's tough. He's dealing with some breathing issues and stuff, but he's trying to make it up here. But we'll see how it works out. Fortunately, Ken Teeter, he's filled in, and he's been a big help. I've said it. I think every time I've been on here, and he took it down to bare bones chassis, put it all back together perfectly, and I came out one race and bent it all up. But now Keith Wheeler, he's jumping in to help out too. So he was a huge help in tech trying to get that rear end and stuff apart. I could have got it all myself, but it would have taken me much longer to get it all apart. So it was big having him down there. Then Big Mike, he came out and spotted for me. That was neat. I don't normally run radios because I normally can't hear my spotter, so I don't like listening to a bunch of stuff I can't really understand. So I bought a new headset or new earplugs and a mic and stuff for my helmet, and it made a world of difference. I could hear every word he was saying. It was nice as crisp. He kept me calm. I think that was part of the reason why I was able to drive so well, is because if I overdrove the corner, he's like, all right, back it up 2 truck lengths, back it up here, maybe try to lift a little bit earlier. I like your pace. You're doing good. Nice. You're nailing it. He's reading off my times. It's like, you're doing well. This is exactly what I need from you. You're pulling away. Keep going, keep going. And then towards the end there, it was nice to hear. He's like, all right, I want you to really back it down. He's like, save you some stuff. I was like, okay. So that was nice to hear. So, but Chris McAvoy, I gave him a little bit of advice before the race, and it was good to see that, they took the advice and it helped them out a lot. So they had something to build on. They need to work on getting their race set up to come in a little later. So, because if it comes in too early, by the end of it, you've run through it, you're tight, and these trucks like to roll over real bad. So
you and I have had this discussion. We texted back and forth, and we were talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
You seem to have a great following of people out here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you and I were talking about it. You said you had other kids and everything was waiting on you that night you won the race and everything. Yeah. And I know one. And he I mean, I get a text message. I just talked to Rick.
Man, these kids, I love it. So I make it a point to turn around. I mean, I think everybody does it when they win and stuff like that. I don't know why they do it, but for me, I turn around just so I can see the kids' faces. When I'm driving by with the checker flag, I get to point at the kids and watch them smile ear to ear, get excited, jump up and down and stuff like that. That means a lot to me because when I was their age, I was at Port Royal Speedway. If it wasn't Port Royal Speedway, it was Selinsgrove or Williamsgrove. I was at one of the local dirt tracks at home, at the fence, watching the 410 sprint cars run. They were my heroes. I wanted to be just like them. All I wanted to do was race. I'd be the kid at the dirt track with my sprint cars lined up with a dirt track racing. During the week, I built my own little dirt track inside our barn. I had my little Matchbox car Speedway.
Yeah.
That's it inspired me to want to race. All right, so if I can make just a little bit of a positive impact on these kids by showing them, hey, one day you can do this, and giving them something to look up for or look forward to, or a role model, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know exactly what the word is.
No, I think so. And I think sometimes
that's exactly what it is.
I think sometimes some of us as drivers, and I put myself in that category, we don't realize that, that, you know, we do kind of, you know, make a good example, because those kids along the fence, like you're saying, that's the future of our sport. That's the next generation. That's the next people. And we need to get more kids into this sport.
Yeah.
If this sport wants to survive, I mean,
Absolutely.
we have to get new kids involved, new people.
I mean, look, we just have a 12-year-old on here that's kicking butt.
I know,
So,
right?
like, it's
It's
possible.
like the exception to
Yeah.
A lot of these kids down here can do the same thing. I mean, if they're not far away from being inside an Enduro or a truck. I mean, look, Alicia Potter, she started when she was young in a truck.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
you don't have to be that old to get in these vehicles and get out here and start. So.
No, and age does that. I mean, I started when I was, 40. So, I mean, you can start any time to get into this and do this stuff,
Didn't help much though when you 40
Well,
years.
I was already past my prime, and see, I still did okay.
Shoot, I found my truck on Craigslist sitting on watch one night. I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible. But now, if I can inspire the kids, man, that's what it's all about. I make it a point that any kid that comes up and asks for me to sign something, I sign it. It stinks because standing there in Victory Lane, I can hear him asking for my autograph.
Oh, really?
And even I can't remember his name, but the pit road reporter.
Buck or
No,
No,
Adam
Buck.
Wilbrock.
Adam.
Yeah, he
Does
made
a
it a
good
point
job.
to point out, hey, you got a bunch of kids over here that want your autograph and stuff. And I told them, I was like, hey, once I get done with tech, meet me over here, I'm going to do it. But tech took me 2.5 hours. That's my fault. It wasn't their fault. I mean, it was hard to get everything.
But
apart.
you
It's
don't,
not.
and you don't have a crew or that much of a crew that you could just, let them worry about it.
Everything that rear end hasn't been taken apart in 5 years, so it was not easy to take apart. But either way, I missed the opportunity to do that for him. So maybe this weekend when we get here after qualifying and stuff, I'm gonna see if I can get in touch with somebody to try to make it up. Maybe set the truck out at the front gate or something, sign some autographs, do what I can. If I have to just set my butt out there and just sign, I'll do that just to try to make up for it if there's any of those kids over here, because I do feel bad that I didn't get to do that for them.
When you talk about being a role model, you are that. Don't sell yourself short. You are definitely a role model. You're
Why aren't you looking at me?
because I'm not talking to you. But I'm, here you are. You're in the service. You're Navy man. We are very appreciative of what you do in that regard, and now you're out here and you're a role model for the kids. So you do that. Don't take that like lightly, because you are. That's what it's all about.
Sometimes sometimes you forget that the image you have, I guess. So it's hard for me to see it. I mean, my wife points it out all the time. She's like, you should see all the little kids when you're out there warming up your tires and stuff along the fence, cheering every time you go by, the checkered flags that are waving as you go by and stuff. She's like, you'd be amazed to see it. I was like,
yeah, you would.
Well, that's kind of where I wanted to build my fan base, because like I just said, like that was me. My favorite driver was Todd Schaefer growing up. It's a little different. His wife taught me in school, but Todd Schaefer was a very well-known sprint car driver in the area. So he was my hero. And, if I can just give somebody, one of those kids, something to look forward to, because nobody knows everybody's situation, right? If I can just be that light for somebody, that's what I want to be. And that's in everyday life. That's not just at racetrack. Like I do that with kids, with baseball and everything. Like kids are our future, and if we're not investing in these children, what are we doing for our future? Right?
100%.
Well, I'm proud of the fact that you kind of moved Butterbean out of the way, and now you're the man now with him.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever move that man out of the way. That man is.
No, you have in his mind. You have.
Clay, yeah.
So Clay, and it's like I was telling his mom, and we were talking about it one night over there about how he wanted to come tonight, some kind of terrible. He was about to give his mom and dad a fit. And it's really cool that he looks up to you. And I told them, hey, you can't find anybody better.
No,
you got to think about it. That's the person you would want your son to think and look up to. So
for sure.
I'm proud of it.
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Like sometimes I'm a little too hard on myself, a little too humble, but it's hard to take positive stuff like that. So it's like, that means a lot to me. So
Well, you are. You're very good at keeping these kids and having your thoughts are on them, and I appreciate that. And I see how Clay gets all excited every time he talks to you. I mean,
shoot, I get excited talking to him.
I mean,
don't tell him that.
It comes out of nowhere. I mean, he'll call me at home and say, or send me a message, and I just talked to Rick. Okay.
Shoot, I was sitting at work the other day waiting on some maintenance to get done, and I was at random thought. I was like, I wonder how Clay's doing. I sent him a text message. Like,
oh Lord,
I want to make his day. So I sent him a text message. Hey buddy, how you doing? And I was thinking, I was like, shoot, he's probably in school.
Don't make no difference.
His grandpa was gonna yell at me for that one.
Don't make no difference.
But it is small stuff like that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and you got him wrapped around your finger. I don't know why. I keep trying to tell him, you got that big motor and everything. That's the reason why you win races and stuff.
Well, if you look at the time sheet,
it ain't big enough.
Right, exactly. Because my time's not nearly as good as it needs to be, if that's the case. So I'm definitely messed something up there.
Well, Rick, we appreciate you coming back out here and being a part of the show. I look forward to having you on. I was really hoping Clay could have been here tonight because he was looking forward to it, but he's got summer camp coming up, so he's got to do Boy Scout summer camp. So
well, that's important.
Yeah, his mom and dad told him.
He'll appreciate that later on in life.
Well, I mean, he had practice last night for All-Stars, Boy Scouts tonight, practice tomorrow night for All-Stars, practice again Thursday night for All-Stars.
It sounds a lot like travel ball schedule right there.
Well, and then we got to go to Suffolk and play in the tournament. And I mean, I ain't gonna say it out loud, but I might try to skip out on it Saturday.
You just said it out loud, didn't you? I don't know. So
anyway.
I sent him a message on Facebook and stuff, but I want to make sure that I say, here, happy birthday, Clay. Come see me at the next race that you're here, and I'll get you a T-shirt. I got a T-shirt waiting for you.
Yeah, I didn't tell him I told you about coming out there the other night.
Yeah.
I didn't tell him that. Because if I'd have told him that and you didn't show up, then he'd have been upset with me. So I didn't say a word about it. So.
I was so nervous when you wrote me. I was like, I don't know what to say to this because I can't, work's crazy. And then that's a baseball night. So it's just, I'm glad they didn't mention anything because it didn't work. I had every intention of going out, but I ended up having to take Hayden to baseball practice, and it just ended up being a wild night. So
he'll be here. Well, I don't know if he'll be here this weekend or not, but he'll be back, and you'll get a chance to see him again. So,
well, that's good. I look forward to it.
Anyway, all right. Well, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank Justin KERN for being with us tonight and doing the draft for the Commander's Cup, the Louis Pasteur's.
Yes.
Commander's Cup. Want to thank Tristan McKee and DUANE SKINNELL. 12 years old, winning car store races.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
And then the last winner in the super trucks here at Langley Speedway, Rick POUST. So pretty good show tonight.
And Stingray Robb.
And Stingray Robb. I forgot about
that. What a cool name.
I know.
Named after
well, look,
right?
I was watching the Indy 500 and I saw this name Stingray Robb. I said, there's got to be a good story here. But I guarantee you, I ain't going to be able to find out anything. I ain't going to be able to get in touch with him. Well, I sent him a message, and he sent me a message back and said, talk to this person right here. I'm going to do your show. So I called Kimmy, which is his manager, and she says, we got it. We'll set it up and have everything. She sent me a message today. She said, I don't know how this is going to work because he's on the road to Iowa. I said, well, just do what we can do. So turned out pretty good. So anyway, so we appreciate it. Next week, Keith Paquette. You know him?
It sounds.
You're the one told me to get him on the show.
I did?
Yeah.
Damn, I should know who it is then, shouldn't I? Who's he? I'm drawing a blank.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But anyway, Eddie Clark said something about barbecue next week.
Oh, he's bringing barbecue?
He said something about it earlier. Now, I'm hoping he's going to live up to that. Guarantee he's going to get some text messages this week and find out about it. Guarantee it. But anyway, he'll be Keith will be with us. DJ Valente is going to be with us. Garrett Zacharias is going to be with us next week on the show.
Full house.
Well, I mean, he won't be here, but
Yeah, what I'm saying, show wise.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a good show. All right, we'll see you again next week. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you around the corner.